Good morning. I'm glad you came this morning, this early. So I'm very happy for that. My name is Pepijn Richter. I lead product management for the Microsoft Cloud for Retail. André?
And my name is Andrei. I'm an architect for Microsoft Cloud for Retail, working with Pepijn.
Cool. So in this session today, we want to give you an update on one of our agents, the retail store operations agents. For these of you that joined us yesterday for the session, that's when we showed a different agent, a personalized shopping agent. That one is meant for retailers to put on their website to help consumers with kind of their buying experience. This agent is a very different one for the scenario to help store associates within retail stores. So different agent, different session. What we want to do is we actually want to demo most of the session. And since we have an intimate group, just please keep the questions going during the demo or during the presentations. It would keep it very interactive. So if that's possible, that would be awesome. Just like the flow of the session, we have a couple of slides to set up kind of the challenge that we see in retail that we have been working with quite a few retailers on before we go into the demo. And then in the demo, we do two experiences. One is actually the IT admin experience. So how can you discover, how can you kind of customize and configure the agent, and then how do you deploy the agent. And then the second scenario is the store associate or the store manager scenario, where the store associate starts to use the agent themselves. So two demos as part of that, and then we close with, we have some pointers to some materials that we have online and a Q&A. Just starting on Gen AI in general, of course, I think the whole tech industry pivoted to kind of Gen AI specifically, kind of a year, 1.5 years ago. With retail, of course, we did lots of work in AI already, but with Gen AI, it opened up more opportunities, and we have many retailers come to us for very specific problems. Now, the two agent scenarios that we have been showing here are two where we see gravity around. So lots of retailers and brands are asking help for these same scenarios. So we see kind of a few of these beachhead scenarios rise, and this is one of them. Of course, using Gen AI, you can outperform competition, and we see that Gen AI can of course help improvement in all areas. So the two areas that we have been focusing on again are kind of customer engagement and then in-store operations, so productivity and engagement, while we are looking at agents in the supply chain area as well, because we see that that's another area to go to. Now, if you look at retail stores and the retail store employees, I think across the world, retailers are challenged to get kind of qualified store associates in the store. So hiring new employees, qualified employees, and retaining these employees have been quite a challenge. At the same time, getting these employees ready to help with the specialized task they have is not an easy job. And you know, we have implemented this agent actually in our Microsoft stores starting in January of this year. So they are operational for the last 11 months right now. If you look at a very simple scenario that we see across all retailers as a very popular scenario, is that of store protocols. So, you know, how do I operate the cash register? Or how do I create an incident? Or, you know, what are the promotions? And within our own stores, we have 350 documents describing all these protocols. And that's an average number that we see with most retailers in terms of store documents. And these documents are stored in a SharePoint or somewhere where people can find them. So that is one of these tasks where we believe that Gen AI can help quite a bit. In addition to that, and we will go into that a little bit more to explain the agent, but a lot of the store associates have to work through lots of apps. We actually started developing what we call a store operations assist, an app built in Teams in the Power Platform to help with that employee productivity. But it was just another user interface, right? Where they have a user interface to actually get order information or product information from their ERP system. Could be SAP, could be Dynamics, could be any ERP system. A service management system, again, Dynamics or ServiceNow or any other. So the retail store associate has lots of apps to manage. So again, lots of documents, lots of apps to manage, and then they need to focus on kind of doing their work. So the agent is helping in these areas. How can I retrieve information quickly? How can I do tasks more efficient? And then how can I kind of elevate the consumer experience? So these are the three goals with the agent. Again, to improve kind of the employee productivity on one side, but on the other side also to help with kind of that improvement in customer satisfaction. I basically summarize this, so summarizing slides. So the agent will do both things. We have certain scenarios enabled that we will show, and on a monthly basis we are actually updating the agent with new scenarios. The focus now is very much on kind of employee productivity, and you will see that. And then we will shift to adding more of kind of the customer advisory things, especially if you're in specialty retail, where folks want to know about certain appliances or certain kind of hiking gear that they need. We will add more of that kind of advisory and product recommendation in the agent as well. So with that, I wanted to ask Andre to come on stage. So this agent is built in Copilot Studio. So we wanted to quickly run through the setup of the agent and then start with Copilot Studio.
Thank you, Pepijn. So, as Pepijn mentioned, the engine is implemented on Copilot Studio as a first-party managed application. So the admin experience when they want to install the agent into the retail tenant, the retail environment, it is as easy as opening the Copilot Studio, finding the agent tile, clicking the tile, and seamlessly get all the functionality there into the environment. In particular, the product check functionality, incident manager, task management, access to the latest policy to all of those 300 documents or how many of the documents are there. Getting order details with a rich configurability and extensibility, leveraging all the goodies, all the latest things from Power Platform and Copilot Studio. In particular, the current version of the agent is supporting the unstructured data from M365, including the Teams shares, then connects to the structural data with all variety of Dynamics applications, plus the other ERP and task management systems like ServiceNow and SAP. And in future, the work is in flight, automating some of the process where the automation makes sense using generative AI and the agents framework, which also comes with Copilot Studio. Then, after the agent is created in the Copilot Studio environment, the admin or maybe the ISV or SI that retailer is contracted with, they can extend the agent with a variety of different connectors and knowledge sources provided by the Power Platform. These are only a few of them. There are more than 1,000 different connectors. So pretty much the environment plus the agent can cover most of the business domain for the retailers. Doesn't matter which systems or which environments they use. Again, it's not anyhow linked to Dynamics or Microsoft products. It's completely agnostic to the product stack. So with that, I will show you the demo, the admin experience, how that will look like if we are the admins in the customer environment. So first, the very easy thing, just open the Copilot Studio, that is the front screen. The admin would find the store operations tile, and do not touch that tile, because this tile is the old one, is the first version of Copilot Studio template. Instead, we will click See More. And on this screen, there are first-party featured copilots, including Store Operations Copilot Preview. So it gives a short details of what the agent is about, and then just click Install. The difference between the previous version, which is called template, and the current version is that template is one of product or one of solution which is being installed to the customer environment and then is not connected anyhow to the source which we're updating. So it is indeed the template which runs completely in the customer environment. However, the agent that we're installing right now, it is a fully managed, updatable solution supported and maintained by Microsoft Industry Cloud for Retail. So whenever we've got a new functionality, as Pepijn mentioned, we update it pretty frequently. Any new AI models, everything that comes available, it's being automatically updated in the Copilot. So this one is the one to start because it has all the out-of-the-box functionality. It has fully managed solution. It has all the updates and so on. It also keeps the customizability and extensibility inherited from Power Platform. So that is it. The agent is being created. Now here in my environment, so environment is store agent environment, we should see a new agent created, and we will explore a little how the agent looks like. So to those who are familiar with Copilot Studio, this is pretty much the standard UX where the admin can see what are the agents, like the status of the agents is being published, can see the knowledge sources used. As Pepijn mentioned, this is used by Microsoft Stores, so that's why there are Microsoft Stores knowledge sources. Plus, there is an environment, a small environment already provisioned, so the admin can validate if the agent functions properly. Explore the topics. That's probably the most interesting for extensibility and customizability. These are the skills the agent can do. So the topics look pretty familiar if you are familiar with Power Automate or with Copilot Studio or with Power Virtual Agent. So this is the flow. This is the GenAI managed flow with all all branches, all connections to ServiceNow, to SAP, to data sources. So the customer or the ISV can explore that, can customize a piece of that, can extend, can create new flows in the same ones. And then once the job is done, it goes to, it's already published, sorry. So if the customizations are done, then the admin will click Publish and create that agent in one of the channels. So the channels available in Copilot Studio are like a variety of different channels, from mobile applications and web applications to the chatting experiences, as well as Microsoft Teams. So the current agent is deployed to Microsoft Teams environment, and I will hand over to Pepijn, who will be our store associate, or I don't know, maybe you've got promoted to store manager already. So show us the environment, how it works.
I will do the store associate part. Any questions about kind of this IT admin experience?
Sorry. Yes, please.
So on the website, when I opened this last night, I saw that it says some of the features are not yet available and it's only a preview version. So does that mean it's going to be launched at a later date?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, as Andrei mentioned, we have a Copilot store operations template available right now. So as he said, it's not an ALM experience. So it's a template that you deploy once and you can use it. It has a limited set of features as part of that. So that one is publicly available right now. The version that you will see now that I will use, and the version that Andre showed, is the first-party one. We have that as a preview available. So if you want to have that, there's a link in the last slide that you can go to get it deployed, and then we will deploy it for you. It will become publicly available early January. Of this year. So it is ready. It's just waiting for the next kind of release window that we have, which is early January.
And but from that link, you can still use that?
From the link, we will make sure that if you have an environment, that we will deploy it for you, so you can use it as what we call a gated preview. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, this first-party agent comes with a bunch of different agents all together with Copilot Studio. So that is why we are waiting for the cadence of release from Copilot Studio. So all of the agents, all of the first-party agents become available there. But our one is ready, as Pepijn said. If you connect with us, we will just deploy it.
If you want to get access, if you leave your card, I can connect with you as well. So great question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Afterwards, by the way, after deploying the agent, since it is a managed Dataverse solution or managed Power Platform solution, you will not be anyhow connected to this gated private preview mode. So the solution upgrade will happen just as the same way as any other Power Platform solution. Also, all the configurations, upgrades will happen smoothly without any other steps required.
Cool. Any other questions on the IT admin experience? Just a quick question. How many of you are using Copilot Studio today? 2, 3, 4? Okay, cool.
And Power Platform?
Yeah. Okay,
good.
Cool. So we have used multiple technologies. This agent specifically, Copilot Studio, was actually very beneficial because it has a lot of the standard connectors already available. It is easy to modify workflows. So we are actually able to release new scenarios really quickly, and therefore we almost do a kind of a monthly update with new scenarios. So for us, it was really easy to go quickly. So for IT teams, it's also easy to support their kind of their retail business partners. So that's the reason we have chosen Copilot Studio for this one. So let's go to the actual Store Associate experience. I just need to wake it up a little bit. So the nice thing that we learned is that instead of toggling between apps, you have a natural language user interface, which everybody understands, or most people understand, so it's really nice. The agent itself is a headless service, meaning you can publish on the channels, as Andre mentioned. In this case, we are running it in a Teams environment, but you can run it on various channels where you want. So some of the workflows that we enabled, very simply, are regular tasks, right, in a store. So simple task is if a consumer comes in, wants a certain size of shoes, it's not there, then you can quickly look for, is the shoe available in stores nearby? And normally, I think you have to go to your an ERP system or some form of an inventory management system to look it up. But now you have, again, one single user interface to look it up, and it will hopefully quickly come up with an answer. So these demos are live. As you see, we have a live environment of actually Dynamics Finance and Operations running. So in this case, it actually fetches it from the inventory visibility service. So it fetches the inventory of this item in a couple of nearby stores, as you can see. So this allows the store associate to quickly give a consumer, like, there we have it. If you want to check something else, you can use these hyperlinks as I did, but you can check on things like order details as well. So let me just quickly pull up. I was a little too fast. So it asks a couple of clarifying questions to understand my intent, and I did want to find this order. and now it pulls up the details of an existing order. That's outstanding. So that it allows the store associate to respond to kind of an open order that the consumer might have in store. Here you see Jennifer has ordered two pairs of shoes. So again, it pulls out of the supply chain system. It's just the order details for that customer. So these are just two kind of workflows using that natural language interface, but you can use kind of Gen AI to look in store protocols as well. So if I have a seamlessly simple task in the store about how to print product text. Now it would look through a document repository to see if it can find kind of the store protocols. And it can be, I can ask questions about do you have current promotions or anything, but in this case I want to print product tags, and you can see it searches the document database and pulls up the instructions right here on the screen. The nice thing, it actually has a link to, as you can see, the PDF document as well. So it also shows kind of the source document. Now the interesting thing is this was actually one of the most common scenarios while working with many retailers of implementing this scenario, because there are so many store protocols, and it can be promotions, or what do I do with an incident, or things like product tags. So that is one of the scenarios that that Andre showed. One of the other scenarios is incident management, because it's a regular task as well. It can be, the curtains are broken and I need somebody to get it fixed, and normally you have to either go to ServiceNow or any service management. But again, we made that a hyperlink. So what you can do is you can actually create an incident from here. So in my case, I have a problem with the POS, and POS is not working. So I need somebody quick, so I can give hi. And with create, it will actually create an incident now in the backend in ServiceNow. So we have a ServiceNow instance running in the backend. So in this live demo, it now created an incident in ServiceNow. As you can say, if you check on incident management, you can update incidents, but you can also get all open incidents for a store. Again, without leaving kind of this chat experience, so not going to another app, but just doing that from here. So these things really help. Now, if you go a little bit further and want to go to how do I help with kind of product recommendations for customers, we enable scenarios like let me show me, and this is a retailer that does a lot of products for the demo. Show me the muesli options. So if a customer comes in and has some questions about, what kind of products do you have, you can ask these questions around kind of what are the products that we are serving. So we have some simple kind of help scenarios for consumers in terms of for the store associate to help their consumers to help with some product recommendations. In the future, we might take that much further, where we actually have a recommendation engine behind it. But what you can see is that on the cards, it nicely pulls up kind of the muesli options that we have, with a short description of ingredients, because that is often the first question that our customers ask. And if we want to do some comparison, we can actually do that right from the screen here. We don't have to go to the aisle, pick up the boxes, and do a comparison there. Another scenario. Now, one of the things that we see frequently as well is some proactive tasks that we can do in the store. Things like, show me the items expiring in 2 weeks. So normally, I mean, the store associates have to check expiry dates on products and do some replenishment. But in this case, we can ask the agent to see, what items are expiring within the next weeks, and it will give me kind of the options. Now, the nice thing is, so it gives me the expiring date, so the 1st and 2nd of December. Now, the interesting thing is, from here, I can start and actually creating activities and driving tasks. So I can create tasks for people that do replenishment or people that manage pricing to do an action with this, right? So I can start and I can give an action now where I say create a 20% discount to make sure that this item sells bigger. So this will create a kind of a task for the person responsible for it. So this is a variety of activities that the agent can help the store associate with.
You mentioned this is connected to the finance and supply chain ERP. When you create a discount, is that creating a task to create it, or is that actually writing back to create a discount?
No, in this case, it creates a task in the backend system to actually create the discounts. But I mean, you can configure workflows, but we wanted somebody else to actually make that decision about the discount. So it's just creating a task in the backend system in the ERP system in this case. Yeah. And these are the most used scenarios that we see, but of course you can configure it. That's the nice thing of using Copilot Studio, is that it's fully configurable and you can change that with you. And the interesting thing is the integrations that you see here are standard connectors in the Power Platform that we use. So we use standard connectors with kind of inventory visibility servers, with kind of finance and operations, Dynamics Finance and Operations, or ServiceNow, just standard available connectors. So it goes really quick to build kind of additional scenarios in these. So this was kind of the store associate demo, so the user. Any other questions on kind of on the scenario or?
Not necessarily the specific associate scenario, but you mentioned it hooks into finance. I have a lot of clients that use commerce and point of sale.
Yeah.
Does this operate a little bit independently of the POS application specifically, or can I pull this? Is there a way to configure to pull the chat up in the point of sale, or add a button that says add to cart?
Yeah, so good question. So we deliberately have chosen it as a standalone system to make sure that that you don't have to toggle between lots of systems. We have a proof concept internally to see if we can actually land it in a point of sale as well, just to try it out. But as we have chosen it, we see more applicability at the moment with retailers to have it as a standalone and do kind of the connectors with each of the backend systems. Yeah.
That makes sense, especially linking to other systems like ServiceNow is very safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, so the retail store associate is interacting in a Microsoft Teams environment on their phone. That's how they're interacting with the agent in the store?
Yeah, phone or tablet or what they want. And Teams is just one channel. You can choose different channels. Many retailers have different kind of devices for their employees. We have run into retailers with WhatsApp or any application. So I mean, you can make this. It's a headless service. So we have channels within Copilot Studio. So we follow their kind of channel pattern, what they support. The ones that Andre showed. Maybe you can you show them again quickly?
Yep.
So there's a yeah.
So here are the available channels, and some of them, like a custom website or mobile application, these are the channels. They're pretty headless service API-based channels, so you would get either a bunch of default UX from Copilot Studio, which can be embedded into any other website or mobile application, or even more. This headless agent can be used as an API level. So whatever application is implemented, it will just call the backend URL of the Copilot and then print, do whatever experience which is required. That should also work for the point of sales, but I believe, we didn't try it honestly yet, I believe there will be, or there is a first-party integration of Copilot Studio channel to all Dynamics applications, because that's like they're all coupled together. And or the same, just as Papine mentioned, it can be done in the other chatting applications like Telegram or WhatsApp.
I thought there was another. Oh, yeah.
This UX, no. If we publish to the direct line speech service, yes. That all goes through Bot SDK, Azure Bot SDK, so whatever is available there is available for this agent as well.
It's a good question, actually, because a lot of retailers are asking for that scenario.
No one wants to text that. Yeah, people just want to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for store operations, so for their personnel. Yeah.
This exposes the entire agent to the data line that is the bot service. With this implementation, we can create our own, like, for example, implementations and iterate the context of the store. For example, we have like 172 stores around the country, and these stores have a specific inventory. So how I can enable, like, via the data line, the context of the user that is based on the store, the information of the inventory on the agent. So how the agent handle the context of the user that is in use if you have multiple stores around the country.
Yeah, so it's not right here in this agent. It can be based on the sign-in user identity. So based on where the user, like the store associate works, it will filter down the inventory and the other things related to that particular store. What is possible right now with the current version of the agent is connecting the agent instance to a particular databases or particular systems which are specific to that store. So the agent instance itself doesn't matter which user uses. The agent instance will be connected only to the particular store. So everyone who uses that instance of the agent will see only the information and manage the tasks only specific to those stores or the group of stores which are.
At the end, you have to create a specific entitlement to handle the different context of information that the store can use.
Yeah, well, this is with the current implementation. What you say is actually a great feature, and there are more, like, to elaborate on that feature. Not only the filtering down the tasks, inventory, products, everything based on the sign-in user identity, but also respecting the permissions of the user to create particular tasks or see particular documents. So that is a great feature. I believe we will have it eventually.
Sometimes I've seen there are still hallucinations. So for example, the process question that you asked, what is the written procedure to do a certain thing? Sometimes the response is not based on the document, but based on the knowledge and understanding of the web, it comes out as a response. So how do we avoid those hallucinations and answers?
Yeah, it's a good question. With these agents, we try to ground them in kind of the retailer's kind of knowledge. So we actually have a select set of knowledge bases where we point them to. So at least it helps the hallucination not to go too broad. Depending on how much documents there are, it can still search for other things, right? But I think with grounding it in kind of a retailer's kind of document library or websites, we are able to limit it quite significantly.
Yeah, and if you want a little more technical thing, is that Copilot Studio has its own orchestration layer, which uses LLM in order to find out like what topic to trigger, like what actions should be executed. Plus, it has an ability to respond the questions immediately using the GPT sort of knowledge. Usually, that functionality is being turned off for the scenarios like store operations, because no one wants the store associate to just chat with and ask general questions, I don't know, about the weather, the history, and so on. So that one is off in this particular agent. However, the agent tries to get information, as Papine mentioned, from the websites, in this case from Microsoft Store websites, and then from the documents stored in the Store SharePoint. So if the information is available there, the agent may answer this instead of, I don't know, like creating the task or checking the real availability, because the question and description of the topic look more like similar, let's say, to the question from the user. So it is one part of the engineering work that we are doing is the proper prompting and testing with a variety of different questions, just understanding that the Copilot is instructed properly. So in case of like this kind of questions, it will trigger a proper response. And then if it triggers a response, for instance, to check from the documents, then it's going to check the information from the documents.
Do you quickly want to show the knowledge base in the template?
Yep, give me a second. So right now for the knowledge sources, we have 2 websites.
For this example?
Yeah, for this example. I think...
So retailers can basically add internal SharePoints or websites.
So this one doesn't have anything else.
No, because this is our template.
This one I created. Yeah. So, but anyone like the admin customer can add additional knowledge and just get it used. Then for the topics, as I mentioned, the topics have descriptions. So if some of the topics are not triggered properly, and here is the experience for the admin to try it out a little. If some topics are not triggered properly, like the associates usually ask the questions in this form, and in this case, the agent gives an improper response, it is possible to change the description of a topic or even turn off some particular topic so it doesn't get a false trigger.
There's a question in the back.
One of the challenges retailers face is actually so is there a onboarding? Because that's something like kind of a training checklist for a new store operator who comes in. You don't want them to just experiment on the end customers. So.
It's a great scenario. We actually don't have that scenario just yet, so we'll put it on the backlog for next ones. I think it's a great one.
Is there a manager view or is it learning from itself to identify that in 100 stores the same question gets asked 100 times? You know that you have a learning opportunity, like there's some gapping or doing some analysis of what's engaged in the project?
It's a great question.
Yes, so there is analytics tab in the Copilot Studio. I have it empty because I have just created it. Otherwise, you would see the topics triggered over the time, like with the frequency and much more with different other analytics. So then the admin or the other role, like close to admin, can analyze what was the usage of a Copilot and then like tune and just like do whatever is important to understand how the Copilot is used, what is actually triggered, and how the topics end. Like if there was a topic, often triggered a topic to create a task, but the task was not created in the end, then that's probably something wrong. So there is an analytical view here. More, let me check. I guess it is in these settings. The admin can enable export of all the analytical data into App Insights instance on Azure, and then have pretty much all the logs from Copilot, including the technical logs, and then run the separate analytics or develop own analytical pipeline on that one. This is out of the box coming from Copilot Studio. It's not our IP from Retail Cloud. This is Copilot Studio features.
Maybe just a few things to close out with. So you saw the 2 demos. We work with a couple of partners, and some of them are in the room. Avanade is one of the partners, where partners actually build extensions on top of it for certain retail segments, for instance. So we hope that lots of partners actually use the agent to actually create kind of more agents or more specific agents on top of it. If you're interested, we are very much willing to work with you and to help you with these. I didn't say that in the opening, but kind of our charter within the Microsoft organization, within the engineering organization, is to develop that industry-specific IP that basically drives adoption of the Microsoft horizontal platform. So we make our IP an entitlement of these underlying horizontal platforms. So our role is just to improve usage of our horizontal services in specific industries. Now we have a couple of things. So we have a booth in the expo. So if you have more detailed questions, we have a team there. We will be there as well today, tomorrow. There is on learn.microsoft.com, we actually have a complete set of documentation on the agent. So please check that out if you want. The first question that was asked, thanks for asking it. If you want to have the preview, so the capabilities that are here, the template that you will see in Copilot Studio today has limited functionality, not all the functionality that we demoed today. But if you want to have that one, you can sign up here through the link, and we will make sure that we deploy it in your environment. And then there's a click for demo in case you wanna try it out yourself as well without having the environment. With that, any last questions or comments? No? Okay. Thank you very much for your attention early this morning, and hope you have fun in Chicago. See you
Thank
later.
you, everyone.